alive. Now when I look in your eyes, I feel paralyzed. Now I know it's over. I see you passing by, hand in hand, with your perfect light. My body goes numb, feels like someone cut out my tongue. I didn't know a heart could die this young. Oh, now when I look in your eyes, I feel paralyzed. by, fall asleep to lullabies with something that I thought I'd never find. And what is right and what is wrong, and all I ever saw was love. But let's get lost in love tonight. Hear a second voice inside my head, it's telling me to say the night again and hold on to the words we always said would be forever, forever. Wait another day to clear my thoughts, so jump into a love that won't be forgotten. Forever, forever, let's run away together. Let's run away together. Let's run away together. Let's run away together. Wait another day to clear my thoughts, so jump into a love that won't be forgotten. Forever, forever, let's run away together.
Feel alive. She can feel the vibe. Made it through the fire, how did I survive? Yeah, money, women, power, gotta feel alive. Talent don't expire, she can feel the vibe. Every other hour through the night, it's a different sight. Gotta feel alive. She can feel the vibe.
Welcome back to the Heatseeker League Season 5. This is now Division 1 of North America as we begin the regular season here as well. I'm Spuddy FC, you've joined the Spuddy stream for more Heatseeker action. If you saw us earlier, we had quite a fun time not too long ago. It was insert name here taking on We Play Mid in Division 2 only about 2 hours ago. A match where insert name here took down the long-standing We Play Mid roster in a 3-1 fashion. We now move to Division 1. New action, new teams await, new action as well, and more on the line. These are the 6 best teams out of the qualifier. And of these 6 teams, all of them will make playoffs. Only 2 of them, all of them make playoffs, but only 2 of them will get to advance automatically to the semifinals, 2 advance to quarters, and of course 2 have to play the round before that in round 1 against the teams that make it out of Division 2. For our first match, it is Reliables taking on Wildcard here in the first match, in our first match of Division 1 here in Season 5, a very important match as well. Of course, our last Heatseeker match of the night, too. Benefit, though, of course, being that we've had a pretty good match already, and hopefully this will only serve to improve on that as we continue. We'll see how things keep moving, but for now, things are, and I would say, pretty good for a lot of these players. But going into this match, I would consider this being a relatively interesting match. Reliable's full of a couple of players who have been here before, who were in Division 1 last season. Wafi, Perry, KJ. Perry being the only one, though, that was in North America last season. He actually didn't make it to I don't believe he made it to the... No, he did not make it to the final bracket, but... but he was part of North America in the Heatseeker League. Specifically, actually, on North America. For Scope was... What team was he on? I literally had him in mind and then I lost it. Where are you? For Scope... I'm sure he'll be pretty disappointed in me, admitting that I haven't found him yet. He was the only guy that wasn't on a team last season. He actually may not have been on a team last season. I totally thought he was on a team last season. Someone in chat could correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, for Scope, maybe I'm thinking of the fact that he was on Herrick's Night not too long ago, because he was on Herrick's Night not too long ago. But I do know Nawafi and KJ were on teams. KJ was on Up Next. Nawafi was on the Dark Knights. Wildcard on the other side, Undertow got second place on CST. Now, that team has now changed to forced unretirement. They got rid of Undertow. Actually, it was Plexic specifically. Bramble is now on Spectrum, so that team completely disbanded. Joined by Aceberger and Hunter on that roster. Aceberger, who was the sub for CST. Yeah, that team disbanded. Now forming into Wildcard with Undertow leading Absolute and Charlie. Reliables on the side with 2 players from the EU side. Again, we're only moments away from getting things started here. I was wrong about the fact that Perscope was on a team last season. I know he does play a good amount of Heatseeker in his time. Let's get things going here. Gonna be very interesting to see how Absolute, Charlie, Burnsey, Chris, whoever of those people on Wildcard show up and play in this series. See who is showing up for this team. It looks like it's going to be Absolute, Laffy, Lover. Is that that might be Charlie. But that might be Charlie right there. Had to guess. The Lover. But yeah, by the way, a lot of the names I think that are listed are their Discord names. Cool, perfect. We're getting an answer here. It is gonna... So Laffy actually tried... So it is the extra starting master for all cards. Undertow, Absolute, and Charlie. On the other side, it's Perscope, Nawafi, and KJ. So, I would say, at least on paper, it feels like this Reliables team is the higher seed. I mean, although Wildcard is Undertow, again, from what I can tell, I don't know how good Absolute and Charlie are. They weren't here. They didn't make it to the International Championship last season. I'm sure someone in chat's going to correct me and say, hey, they're actually really good and they just didn't play last season. But Reliables, I know for a fact those are two players on that team that did make it to the International Championship last season. I definitely recognize KJ and Nawafi. I recognize Piscope as well, and Nawafi from outside. They're both just very good players to begin with. Both of them have made some pretty deep runs. I know Nawafi not too long ago made top 32 in RLCS. Piscope did it, I think, in the LCQ. I think he made top 32, so pretty good player. Although I think all-time his best has been non-LCQ. LCQ, I think it's been like top 64. But again, he's a very good player. We'll wait a few minutes. Seems like we're getting some tech issues here with Perscope's internet. Or sorry, their computer actually. So we're gonna wait a little bit longer for this match to begin. But for all of you who are new, again, a good amount of my viewers, my normal viewers, if you are watching, are probably very not used to Heatseeker. This is not the first time I've streamed Heatseeker, but it is the first time in a while. For all of you who are maybe not so used to Heatseeker, if you ever seen Heatseeker mode, this is it. 3v3 Heatseeker. Normal rules. This is a best of 5. So there's nothing different about Heatseeker, but for any of you who've never played Heatseeker, which if you haven't, that's pretty sad. It's a great game mode. Definitely, probably my favorite non-standard game mode is Heatseeker. Definitely the best at it compared to any of the other non-standard modes, which isn't saying much. I'm pretty terrible at most non-standard modes, as I will get things started in a moment. Thanks for the compliment tabs. I don't know if I should take this as a compliment tabs, or if you're here trying to make me blush, but anyways, thank you for the compliment. I'll take it as a compliment. As we're only a few minutes away here from getting started with Reliables and Wildcard. Again, part of Division 1. All 6 teams in Division 1 will make playoffs this season. It just depends based on how they perform, where in playoffs they make. Because the better you do, the less rounds you have to play in the final bracket. And of course, the better chance you have at winning the ultimate $1,200 grand prize for the top teams in this tournament. In fact, only the top 10 will get it, so... that actually will include the next 2 best teams from, Okay, I don't think the prize pool split's correct on Wikipedia. I'm looking at Wikipedia, I don't think it's correct. Someone can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's correct. It says there's 10 teams. There's definitely more than 10 teams. Unless the money's going out to the 2 best teams, two teams in 3rd and 4th out of Division 2, which, if Booster Gold's here, he'll correct me. I'm just taking it off Wikipedia. It says only the top 10 get money. I'm assuming that includes the 2 teams in Division 2 that don't make playoffs, because there's only 8 teams that actually make playoffs. So I'm sure I'll be corrected eventually if it's wrong. For now, I'm going off what Wikipedia says, and that means that the 2 teams that don't make playoffs. So basically, everybody here is guaranteed at least some part of the prize pool at the end of the season. Of course, $1,200. There's a pretty big disparity between the top teams and the not so top teams. Not only do the top teams also guarantee a spot in the finals, aka the top 4 teams actually guarantee a spot in the finals. And that would be a potential little bit of extra money as well, with the finals being another $500 prize pool. Only that, again, there's a pretty big discrepancy. First place gets 360. If you're even 1 round short, it's 240. Another round 120. And then it's 90, and then 45. So there is a difference here. You can get a decent amount for actually for performing well in these tournaments. Again, assuming that Wikipedia is correct in what it's showing, which it may not be. We're still waiting a little bit here. Now, Reliables do have a sub if they absolutely need to. I don't know if the sub's available today, but they do have a sub in... They have two subs, Tabs and Jacko. Assuming Tabs is in... Seeing Tabs in chat, I'm assuming Tabs is available then, so... They do have subs if needed. Both these teams actually have 2 subs. Wildcard, it's Burnsy and Chriso. You're pretty sure Wikipedia is right? I would assume it's right. Bramble, I know for a fact, does Wikipedia. I would assume it's right. But honestly, you never know. Like, I checked earlier today, it turns out some of the player links that Bramble has are incorrect. Like, well, I won't mention anything specific, but a couple player links are incorrect on the North American side. Um, actually, I fixed those as well myself, but it also may be the fact that he may have done prize pools specifically only with the top 10 in mind. Oh, he totally did. Only did prize pools with the top 10 in mind. Yeah, assuming that he has that in mind, I think that he's probably just doing something a little different. Again, assuming that he has the bracket correct, I'm not at all. But yeah, we're still waiting on a player here. We have had a disconnect before the series has started. Now, Wildcard and Reliables, again, this is the start of their season, round robin action. Benefit, again, in being in Division 1 is that you guarantee a spot in playoffs, so you're never out of it. Um, Wildcard, actually, this week's pretty important for them. They play twice this week, so it's a pretty important week for them. Let's just wait a little bit longer. It seems like, again, that Periscope's still having some technical issues. Alright, well, we'll wait a little bit longer here. It seems like we are going to have to wait a decent amount of time, so I'm going to go and take us to a very brief break. Hopefully we'll get Periscope in. When we're back, we will have the series for you all, or an update on what's happening next. Alright, we're back, and it turns out Periscope will not be able to play today. It turns out some technical issues have meant that they are going to be replaced by Tavs for the moment. So sub-Tavs coming in to help them out. Meaning we're ready to get things going here. So, unfortunate for Periscope, would have loved to see him show up. I know this team would have loved to see him show up as well. He's part of that starting roster. Listed as the captain, the number 1, but they're going to go on without him. So Reliables now with a little bit less reliability in their starting roster. With Tavs replacing Periscope. Nawafi and KJ both made it to the International Championship last season, but it's week 1 of a new season, a new age. Can Absolutes, Charlie, and Undertow take them down? Well, Undertow, he's taken down tougher teams in his time back on CST. Only second place, only behind Thunderstorm Guardians. So, looking to let this go. This is, again, Division 1, so unlike what we saw earlier, this is going to be a lot more high-flying, a lot different, a lot better, you would think. And it starts with a fake from Nawafi. At this point, I mean, last series I had a tough time choosing if it was going to be an intentional fake or not. Typically, at this level, they're intentional or not, you will tell. Nawafi there finds one through wildcard, a fake on the wildcard defense, and it's goal 1 for the Reliables. Look at how quickly everybody gets up to. There's something else that's also different about these divisions as well. Division 1, you see a lot more respect for players. They know how good everybody is. At this level, everybody's good, so it's really tough to sort of not give them the respect that they deserve. Reliable's doing a good job at it. And Tav's going to play upfield. Kija and Nawafi in behind. Absolute. Late to Undertow. It'll be an easy touch for Tavs, and guard with no one playing aggressively against them for now. Tavs just kind of creeping up a little bit here. Now Nawafi's up a hill as well. Reliable's willing to send 2, play more aggressively. I think more often at these higher divisions, you see teams willing to do this, knowing that it's very tough to break defenses. You need to send both up. Tavs will help them out. And look at that, creeping up, and eventually makes itself known. Nawafi to Tavs into a second goal for the Reliables. Super sub into this series has made a difference in wildcard again with a slightly delayed kickoff. You're going to see that a lot with these teams, though. Typically speaking, you want the players ahead of you to take their time getting upfield, getting to where they want to be, so you can connect those passes. As Undertow almost finding that one. He's going to be the scary player to watch out for. He almost gets it started. It's Absolute with the follow. Wafi's whiffing the midfield, and Undertow doing all the little things himself upfield. It's gonna be scary to play against Absolute. He's a good player who has been on championship contending rosters. The kind of guy who's who could really make a difference here for wildcard. He's, at least to me, by far the most well-known player. The player I know by far the most about. In my relatively limited mind when it comes to knowing Heatseeker. Right now, he's having a tough time being able to withstand this Reliables offense, who, again, you see Nawafi waiting in the midfield. We saw an attempt at this last series by We Play Mid. It was that for We Play Mid, they tended to play more defensively due to the fact that they couldn't read the back wall. For wildcard, they absolutely can. Reliables know they have to be willing to send players upfield, and you're seeing Nawafi kind of shift back and forth. He's sort of cradling the middle of the field. Team's got position, you're going to see him creep up a little bit more. Play that offense when his team is playing defensively like the way now. You're seeing Nawafi sit back a little bit further, and now he's going to look to play up a little higher. Up to Tavs. That's a beautiful pass! It is in! Reliables make it 2 goals up. And what a beautiful pass as well. There is nothing that's shutting down Tavs there. The super sub. Proving that, even on this team of Reliables who have a pretty, firm starting 3, it seems, that there is some real depth to this roster. Depth that typically don't always see, even at this level, although, especially not with the Division 2 teams we saw earlier, even their depth was such that when they make changes, it may not be always in their best interest here. You're seeing teams do it. But at least Reliables, well, I don't know how good Periscope would fit in with this roster. The fact that Tav's fitting in this well is a really good sign. Reliables Again, really trying to create all that offense, defensive movement. Tabs will get that bump. It's going to go wide. It's no touch there for KJ. Nawafi. Tabs is already up. He's not going to read this one. Nawafi will. He's looking for another pass to Tabs, who has definitely found a couple of really clean shots so far. Here goes Nawafi. Up back. Now upfield it is. Redirected on. A save. KJ gets to the floor. Now it's kept up again. Follow up. Missed there by Undertow. Absolute. Nawafi sky high. Tabs isn't going to get to that either. This ball is moving at a very quick speed, and Tabs looking for the net. It's pierced through the armor. Charlie can't get to it, and it's Reliables make it 4-1. As we do see the return of Perscope. Wasn't able to play the first in Game 1 due to a technical issue. It has maybe been solved here. That's an open net for wild card. Undertow will take it, and I must say, I think Perscope is bad luck. He shows up and immediately his team concedes. "75 seconds to go in Game 1, and honestly, the way that the Reliables are playing, it's gonna be a tough choice if they were to take this game. If they, replace Tabs with Perscope, play with the starting roster, or keep Tabs in because he has played very well in Game 1. He's definitely been their strong goal scorer. So it really comes down to, can Perscope offer more than what Tabs is offering right now? Tabs trying to front the net again. KJ, redirect off his own back, will be for Absolute, and here goes Undertow. Pretty scary player to watch out for upfield. Absolute. Undertow up again. Nawafi doing a really good job at recognizing how the foot that is Undertow right now. And you're seeing anytime that this Reliables team is playing defensively, Nawafi tends to sit right next to Undertow. He's essentially not letting Undertow have any sort of opportunities here. He will get one now. That's on target. Saved away. Nawafi with another block. Undertow looking again. That's not connected. Tav will not have this. Undertow again. High redirect off the crossbar. Nawafi leaves it. It's in the net for Tavs. Well, he had to move back to help his team out. Tavs got very nervous for his roster. A couple of plays that really got close. That one especially. Right off the bar, but it goes the other way, and wildcard not set up. The Reliables should be able to take Game 1 right there. Wildcard sending everyone upfield. They're not going to get their goals, though. And here they go. Up for TJ. Off the corner. Eventually, as soon as it falls to the ground, it will be a Game 1 win. One more goal for the Undertow. Gets only their second this game. The guy that I talked about really focusing on wildcard having a very slow Game 1. Definitely a team that will need it to rely on him or to succeed. You didn't really get that Undertow performance that I think so often we can. Again, a guy who last season only got second place on CST. I have to think again that he's not going to be very happy with that performance. It was rather lackluster for Undertow. Again, for a player of his caliber, he's definitely going to want more. The question I now have, though, is really going to be on Reliables. Do they have Perscope play instead of Tabs, or are they keeping Tabs for another game? Very tough choice to make. They're going to sub in Perscope, so Tabs did the work that he needed to in Game 1. Perscope now moving in, and again, considering that Tabs is just a sub, Perscope's got to be a pretty solid player to have upfield. And we'll see if he can do it. Nawafi looking to get things out of himself, though. Double tapping in! Ho-ho! A smash touch! And Reliables jam it in for goal 1. Nawafi leaving no options, as Absolute couldn't get to it. Charlie left on the net. And the Reliables more than happy to take that touch as now a little fake play trying to fake it up and trying to fake the aerial play there. Reliables never fell for it. Oh, and Wildcard, you're not going to play back in their own half, but defensively. Undertow will get the redirect. That is kept off the back. KJ really trying to rush to this one. Nawafi's still up. He's still going. It's towards Undertow. Back wall to commit for Reliables. Charlie missed it! Oh, it's a second goal! Well, a big miss for Charlie. And the Reliables, again, keeping the offense high, Wildcard. This feels like, again, Undertow being rather lackluster in what he can do. He's not getting a ton of chances, admittedly, but again, a player of his caliber, the guy who's sitting upfield, again, that's usually the player that teams rely on. You need to get goals. That's the guy you got to get it from. Undertow won't get to that touch. You won't need to, though. Overcommit and Absolute will have this one. Keeping things close, although, again, still down by one here is Wildcard. Reliables. Look at this. Design passing play. That kickoff's so important because the team that has the ball off kickoff, at least typically speaking, is the one that can get offense as long as they play it right off the crossbar here. Nawafi still offense off the kickoff, by the way, for Reliables. For Scope, Nawafi's right there, and Wildcard nervously willing to challenge that. Oh, still kept airborne. Nawafi won't hold. Off back, Absolute up high. KJ for Scope and Undertow taking a more defensive posturing. It is now Absolute who's a little more aggressive. Well, now they switch roles. Undertow back up field. Here's his chance. Another fake play. He doesn't need to do anything there. Reliables once again not able to get the low shot blocked. Going around now for Wildcard is that bump really is what opens things up. Tough place for Scope to be. Reliables now with who had a 2-0 lead now facing a tied battle. I was going to say that Cavs was better for this team, but this is a much tougher game for them overall. Scope playing a much more fluid role along with Nawafi. Feels like both of them trying to play that fluid midfield role. Means that sometimes you don't always see people upfield for Reliables. There's not always that constant threats, and got to find the threat here. Nawafi able to put it on target. Undertow. DJ sends it back. Absolute. Up is Undertow. He's looking for yet another bump of field. Oh, a miss now! It's Charlie in the middle of it again. He's had a couple very crucial whiffs this game. For Wildcard, down by one again. Reliables just trying to keep themselves ahead for now. For Scope, Nawafi. Oh, he hit it high. That initial shot wasn't going to go in. That Nawafi didn't get a good enough touch on it. Now here goes for Scope. That's a goal for sure. It will be 4-2. Well played, definitely. So, kept up by KJ. Nawafi. Nawafi unable to get the double tap. As Undertow again saved away. And Reliables keeping themselves in the lead. It's not nearly as easy as game one was, that's for certain. And their net specifically, it's been that low shot that's worked on them. Now Undertow with another. That's Undertow's first goal of the game, albeit he's had an involvement in all 3 goals so far for Wildcard here in game 2. He's been a lot more active, a lot more useful. In game 1, it felt like he fell flat. Here in game 2, he's been much more, I would say reliable. I know the joke intended there. Much more reliable for a wild card in making things happen. Because the first 2 goals really were results of his own bumps, not really the shot that went in. What's that third one? From his own efforts, but reliable. This has been a much tougher game for them. And again, there's not that constant threat upfield for them. It feels like they are giving wildcard more room. They're trying to take their shots in the midfield more so. Avs had a much more consistent threat upfield. Definitely a lot more of a player who played that just high up role, not really ever moving back to defense. Both feels like they're trying to do the same thing. Either one of those 2 players needs to set up higher up on the field, or realistically, they've got to find a way to work together in passing. They've been able to keep the lead, but the reason why this game's been tougher for them has been because they have both been trying to do a lot of the same things, and it means there's not always someone upfield to take the shot. Now the Reliables are in the lead with only a minute to go. Up 2-0 this series. The players jump on top of things. Reliables will pinch this one away. Absolute. Undertow! Oh! Well, he was waiting for that moment. You can tell that. Right from the back wall, and no chance on blocking it. What a beautiful strike. And with only a few seconds to go, Undertow has made this series much closer. He now ties it up. Back and forth, Undertow getting involved. That's the player again who got 2nd place last season in the International Championship. Now he's looking to take the game here for wild card. KJ got bumped! Oh, what a huge save! Desperation block for the Reliables. As inside the final minute, any goal can be the goal to win it. Undertow again. He's pushed back a little further now. Again, as time ticks away, if his team can get some offense, you'll see him push up higher and higher. Here he goes. That one on target. Easily kept back by KJ. Absolute. Nawafi. It's in into the net! For Scope! Up by 1! And for all of those who doubted him, well, you can doubt him no more with a shot like that. Inside the final 20. Reliables must hold on to defense now. Absolute. Nawafi sends it back. No one from Reliables pushing upfield, and Wildcard must score here. Nawafi for Scope. Off back. It's going the other way. KJ. It's all right now in the orange half, and this thing will hit the floor. Reliables take game 2 by a 1-goal margin. Both these teams looking for a solid start. The Reliables offense much more mixed at this point. This game they win as well. I think part of the reason you can see why they like having for Scope play is due to the fact that they are relatively multifaceted. They seem to play, again, both at offense and defensive type roles. Not necessarily a bad thing, but again, as I said before, one thing that Reliables can absolutely do to really take over is have someone consistently upfield, have that constant threat, keep more players back from your opponent's side. The risk, of course, to do that, but and a risk that I don't think the Reliables are likely to take going into Game 3, but again, we'll have to just wait and see here as we'll get the new lobby set up. As there we go. New lobby is up. Get them in here for the next game. Again. Let's wait a little bit longer here, but they should be here. Reliables and Wildcard for game 3. Again, this reliable side, I mean, I think it seems like the vast majority of chat expects them to take this series. They're only 1 win away now. Things are looking pretty good for Reliables. But of course, they still have to win 1 more, and I mean, reverse sweeps are possible. We're waiting, I think, on 1 more player. So that once we get everybody here, we'll be up into game 3, and Reliables could take this thing in a sweep. Now, last game was very close. A sweep is not exactly 100% guaranteed. I would say it's somewhat likely, but we'll see. There we go. I sneezed, and that means we're going into game 3. You can tell it's spring because I'm sneezing more. Well, there we go. We're in game 3. I had to take a moment to blow my nose, and of course, while I'm doing that, a goal goes in. Wildcard, for the first time, I think, in this series, have scored the opening goal of a game. Reliables, of course, looking for their answer, and hey, they might have it. For Scope, Nawafi, he can hit the second touch, and he's setting himself up for it. Off the back wall again. Triple tap, not there. Undertow will beat it. As KJ sends it right to Undertow. For Scope, still there. Nawafi's up as well. Reliables looking to play upfield. Nawafi bouncing off the floor. It is for Scope. Nawafi. Absolute to clear. Oh, airborne again. Nawafi. Oh, it hits someone. Undertow hits it wide. Absolute. Back to Undertow, and that's not going to hit the target. Wildcard going for an attempted little pass off the back wall there. It doesn't fully work out. But you see the creativity. Unfortunately, it really doesn't work out. Reliables go the other way. It's Nawafi who finds a little play that rolls to the left corner and in the net. Wildcard cannot be undone. Undertow already putting one on target. They need to be a little faster than that though to beat the Reliables, but still very much Undertow very much threatening the fact that he can score on that net at just about any moment. Reliables aren't doubting what he can do, that's for certain, as only sending one up. Wait a second! Where on earth was Wildcard? Charlie and Absolute, and I don't think they must not have seen each other. They didn't see each other at all. No wonder both of them were playing the midfield role. Neither of them were paying attention to what was happening around, and well, that's a very easy goal for Reliables. It'll get them 1 step closer to winning the series. That's a great play up for Nawafi and for Scope. Nawafi's gonna be the one to take this. Undertow can take his time. PJ will get to it. As it's in the net for Undertow. Tied at 2. Undertow again trying to pull his team back, 1 step after another. Reliable's offense has definitely been difficult to handle, and they've got multiple players who clearly can do things upfield. Wildcard a lot more of a one-hit wonder with Undertow really leading charge, and we're sort of hoping that he can rescue this team from where they're at right now, but that's not going to help them out. Undertow will slow things down with another touchdown on the field as well for Scope. So we'll make sure that stays wide. And here goes Absolute. KJ for Scope again. Off the corner, no Wafi. Well, that's an awkward bounce for Scope. Wafi's gonna read this though. At this point, Reliable's really picking up some speed right now on these touches. It's not enough to beat the Wildcard defense. just yet, but you know they're getting close. Undertow, though, can pull the other way. That could have hit the net. Steel's looking to get one off the back corner of the field. It's off the back. For scope. Oh, it's off the ceiling! That is impossible to read. I feel so terrible for Charlie. I don't know how on earth you read that. An aggressive bounce off the ceiling of the field. And simply put, there's no real way Wildcard gets there. Rivals have done well enough to take the lead in this game. No problem for them has been holding that lead. They have not been able to do that so easily, but their opportunities is KJ looking for himself. Oh, he's just hit it wide. Already upfield. It's Undertow! Kicks it to the top left. Wild card. And Undertow there taking all the time he needs to set up the redirect. It's a tough balancing act, though, because he saw Reliables were already backtracking to cover him. Essentially, kind of, when do you choose to go for it? He had to know that if he goes too late, he gets beaten there. He doesn't even get a touch. If he goes too early, the shot's not good enough to beat the defender. Tough bouncing act. He's able to manage it, though, and here he goes again. That one, he won't get contact. KJ. Straight to Undertow, and Reliables right now unable to hit the net. A lot of shots coming from the corners and just wide of the goal. Here's a play to the ceiling. All per scope doesn't get to it. Here goes KJ. Muffy looking to bump out absolute. Charlie. High bounce will be off the back wall for Wildcard. It's still Wildcard possession. For scope. Takes it away. Great touch for Undertow. Absolute sitting upfield right now for Wildcard. Wouldn't be surprised when he sees him take a risk at this point, but no risk needed. It goes in up for scope. As Charlie got bumped, and not a great place to be there for Charlie. Bumped out, man. His recovery is going to be very slow. A bad turn on rotation there for the Wildcards, and by one in a crucial must-win game. You know they're going to be starting to play very aggressively. In fact, I would not be surprised if we see Absolute and Undertow both play the offensive role at some point. Reliables right now. Don't have to worry about Undertow at this point. As he'll go again. That's above the goal, and there's really not a lot of people back. KJ's going to backtrack a little bit more. The all-time defensive role on this team as Nwapi stops that from being Undertow's shot. Here we go again. It's KJ and Nwapi both going. Perry's going to slow things down. He'll do more than that as he makes it a 2-goal lead, doubling the lead to 2 for Reliables. As per scope, does all he needs to do right in front of the net. He was subbed out initially for Tabs. Clearly he's made it known why he's on the starting roster. Maybe just needed a game to warm up. Wait a second, Wildcard off kickoff. Undertow has found a way through. He's managed, and it's been probably the most successful thing of his game so far tonight has been the bump. He gets Nwapi on that one. Now Reliables must be feeling a little bit more pressured. Wildcard can come back, and here's their chance to get things started. Absolute Undertow both hanging out upfield. All in right now for Wildcard. Time running out for them. Absolute. Stopped short by Nwapi. Charlie gets there, and Absolute. KJ's the only one home. He'll hit the save. Charlie's up as well. This ball hits the floor. Reliables jump on top of it and smother the play and win the series in a sweep. 3 games straight over Wildcard. Well, Reliables, who I think, again, the majority of chat predicted to win this thing with a pretty solid performance, definitely able to handle the Wildcard pressure. Congratulations to them. Big win in week 1 for Reliables. In fact, their only match in week 1, in fact. They won't get to play. They will be playing only one match this week. They'll get two in the next two. They'll get two for each of the next 2 weeks. But for Reliables, they'll start up their season 1-0 for wildcard. Again, they have another match this week. They get to play against Forced Unretirement. But yeah, for now, tough position to be in if you are the wildcard side. But Reliables with the win again. Credit to them for proving me wrong on Scope's performance. You see a couple different players really threatening upfield. For Scope and Nawafi, both willing to play that aggressive role. Both of them having their moments, that's for certain. Again, that is all here for Heatseeker League Season 5 here for me, at least so far. Congratulations, though, to the Reliables. Big win for them at this point. A big win for them early in the season. That is it for me. Thank you all so much for joining the stream. Have an amazing rest of your night. I know for a fact we'll have more matches this afternoon or / evening, no matter where you are, on the Heatseeker Heaven mainstream. But thank you all. Have a great night.